Good evening. It is 6:01 on Tuesday, November 26th, 2024. This is a meeting of the Norwalk Conservation Commission and Inland Wetland Agency. Could we have a roll call, please?
Certainly. Steve Clackey.
Here.
Paul Vanette.
Here.
Ed Holowinko.
Yo.
Cheryl Brown.
Here.
Catherine Knight.
Here.
All right, so you have 5, and that is a quorum.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody online to make public comment?
No, there are no attendees at the moment.
Okay. Moving on then to receipt and discussion, S24-649, 12 Brook Hill Lane.
Okay. So 12 Brook Hill Lane is a corrective action application. Brook Hill Lane is roughly north-south street between East Rocks Road and West Rocks Road in West Norwalk. We issued them a notice of violation on September 19th. There was an existing loose stone retaining wall in the front yard between the house and that's Brook, which is in the front. And they were in the process of rebuilding that wall when we received a complaint and issued that notice of violation. I'll note that the constructed or nearly constructed wall is in the same location as the previous wall. And let's see, I'll just quickly share my screen and then pass it on to the applicant. So this is an aerial view of Norwalk. Here is, to get your bearings, Newtown Avenue, East Rocks Road along my cursor, West Rocks Road over here, south of the Merritt, and Woods Pond, which is a city park, is here. And if you follow Woods Pond Brook north a little bit, you'll get to 12 Brook Hill. The watercourse is conveyed under Brook Hill via a culvert. This is an open channel approximately here. And this is the wall in question relative to the house and the brook. This is what it looks like currently, like right before we went out there in September. And then, and then this is the low wall prior to the work. So Mr. DiNapoli, if you're able to kind of just give the agency a kind of a quick overview of the application submitted, that would be great. And let me know if you would like me to share my screen. Otherwise, you should be able to share your screen and show any of the documents that you emailed us.
Sure. I could certainly do that. Okay. So just to reiterate, they took what was a loose stone retaining wall and are now making it essentially a wet wall. They're going to put some mortar in there, hold that in place. It's going to be in the same spot that the previous wall was constructed in. I believe it's going to extend about 80 feet, roughly north to south. They're going to complete it by hand. No heavy machinery will be brought into the site. They're going to prepare the site with soil erosion and sediment control. They're going to put the silt fence in. A silt fence was in place when we did our site visit. However, it does need to be brought up to more stringent code there. So they're going to obviously extend that into the ground and continue with the work, like I said, by hand. And then once the wall is complete, we called for some typical wetland seedgrass mixture. There's a lot of Pachysandra already established in that area between the wall and the brook. However, we did call for just to add a little bit more vegetation in there. It's flat. There's very, very little slope to it, so we're not too concerned about any significant runoff or anything like that. And once that's established, that really should be the end of the project. They do not plan to do anything else with the wall or any other work in that area. We have a general site location map, which obviously we all saw. We have the topo lines here, so you could see it's pretty flat there. And then if you come around here is the wetland map here. So we have the forested wetland flagged out there. Here is the brook pond, and right there is approximately where the stone wall is existing and is going to be fixed there. So overall, it's a pretty straightforward project. Like I said, it's going to be completed without any machinery, any heavy equipment, anything like that. They're going to establish the silt fence, and once that's complete, they're going to add some more vegetation in there, wetland grass seed, and we believe that should take care of this issue.
Okay, thank you. Any commissioners have questions? I think it's pretty straightforward. We can only receive it tonight, so staff will most likely prepare a memorandum for us to review and approve to resolve the issue at our next meeting.
Okay.
Unless someone thinks there's something more to talk about. Okay. So that is it for tonight then.
Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the solid application.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, moving on to discussion and or decision. First up is S24-645 36 Range Road.
All right, this applicant is not here this evening. The application is still incomplete. I have confirmed that the applicant has retained a land surveyor and a landscape architect to compile plans. They just have not yet had a chance to compile everything together. The applicant did give me today an extension of time. As you know, you have statutory deadlines to either make a decision or to begin the public hearing. The deadline date for either of those actions is your December 10th meeting. So there has been an extension of time for 33 days. That would get you to your first meeting of January. So hopefully at your December 10th meeting, you'll have some revised plans and a good discussion, and everyone at the table feels confident moving forward to schedule the public hearing for your first meeting of January.
Okay, let's hope so. Moving on then to S24-648 284 New Canaan Avenue. And wait a second, do we want to keep these separate, or we like to put them together? The 648.
I think they can be put together for tonight.
Okay, for tonight then we'll also talk about S16-499B.
And if I see that Mr. Penna, or maybe someone using Mr. Penna's invite, is here, if you want to speak up, you can just unmute yourself. But in speaking with the applicant's agent, which is Land Tech, earlier today, they'd like this item to be tabled to your next meeting. If you recall, when it was received at your previous meeting, there was some discussion regarding confusing plans and what elements would be represented in each of the two different corrective action applications. So they're working on preparing those plans, but did not have them ready in time for tonight's meeting.
So be it.
Right.
If the applicant is online and wants to say something, this is your chance. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to enforcement actions, V24-1075.
Okay. So this is ready. So this is in order, so I'll take you through that. I'll start with the actual order. So we issued an order on November 7th, 2024. For the properties at 26 Devil's Garden Road and 30 Devil's Garden Road. We cited approximately 1,900 square foot area that had previously been wooded deciduous swamp that was cleared and has since been repurposed as either lawn or active yard area. What the order directs to remedy those regulated activities is to stop all work, to have a wetland or a soil scientist delineate the wetlands no later than Tuesday, December 3rd, and to submit a corrective action application on or before December 31st. It shows the existing and pre-existing and proposed conditions. And then Directive 3 is to follow the approved permit and to implement fully to your satisfaction. So that's why we are here tonight. Switch to how this began. So back in August of 2024, we received a call from the neighbor. This is number 26 here, which is why we're here. We received a call or an email from 30 Devil's Garden Road. They wanted to meet us to talk about their shed, which they had, if you recall, in August, we had received a lot of rain prior to not getting any in September and October. And the area around their shed was completely inundated. And so initially I explained that the shed is within a wetland, so it was expected to be wet. And the residents asked us again to come out because they felt that it was wetter than that it had progressively been getting wetter. So whenever someone says that their wetland conditions have changed or become progressively wetter, we look at all the surrounding properties. And when we looked at all the surrounding properties, we noticed that there had been some landscape changes at number 26 Devil's Garden Road. Change that. I'm going to switch to
I'm sorry, just for clarity's sake, are both properties owned by the same?
no, two different property owners.
Okay, but we only have one of them here tonight, right?
Correct. So the order was sent to the owner the property owner that conducted the work.
Got it.
So let me just start with location. Google Map. Okay, so Devil's Garden Road is the area we're talking about is here. So this is Highland Avenue and Brian McMahon High School. On the other end of Devil's Garden Road is Rowayton Avenue. Here is I-95 and the railroad. And this is the property here at number 26 that we're discussing, and in particular, it's the area in the very rear. Let's see, I think I closed the previous base map, but the base map showed an approximate wetland area going through. This is the shed on the adjacent property, going through that shed and coming up something like this. The wetlands have never been field delineated on either property. But it is most definitely a standing water swamp. So this is what the property looked like in March of 2024. So again, this is the shed that we had gone out to the neighborhood to look at. And I'll show some photographs of, we got about to this far. That's as far as we could get into the back of number 30 because
That's
of
where the
wet
three.
conditions.
I'm gonna ask you, Mr. Shack, to hold off until she's done.
So I'll show you, we did take some site photos from approximately this location looking out here. One of the things that we noticed when we were out in the field is that the trees in this area kind of all lean back, which is kind of what you see when a tree has been either removed or fallen. When we returned to the office, we looked at older aerial photos. Let's see if we can do it.
Boy, that's handy dandy.
So this is what, so Miss Shack has owned the property since sometime in 2015, I recall. So this is what it looked like in 2018, and I can go back to 2024 if you want, but the condition of the property generally looks the same. So again, this is a very flat standing water wetland. This is a willow tree that I'll point to a few times. And the reason that we issued the order, let's go back to March, is the change in conditions from 2024. And again, this is that willow tree from the previous conditions, where there had previously been a limit of lawn and a fence had been extended approximately 50 feet to the west. And the vegetation in this area, I don't know, from looking under the willow tree, I can't tell if it's also been cleared, but this area was void of any natural vegetation. So I'll just go through, this is 2018. In the fall of 2018. And the spring of 2029, again, willow tree there. September. In March of 2022, willows there. In March of 2021. So in March of 2021, the remains of a tree, you can see its shadow, and then the shadow of a ladder on the tree, and then the tree itself is here. And this is when I believe the tree either fell over or was being in the process of being cut down. This is in, oops, sorry. Lagging. In October. So this is in the following March 2022. At that point, the tree had been removed, but the fence that had been at the limit of lawn is now removed. Zoom out real quick, sorry. In September of 22, the fence started to be extended on the side, but I don't yet see it in the very rear. in March of 2023. Again, you can tell where the previous existing lawn area ended, where the area of no vegetation is in the rear, and the fence rounding the bend. In October, there's tree cover. And then we're back to the March 2024 with basically the current condition. I have not been on the subject property. We did, on the day that we met with number 30, Devil's Garden Road, myself and one of the land use techs did come over to number 26, but the property owner who was in her driveway about to leave asked us to leave the property. So we have never been on the property, never done an actual site inspection. I don't know if there is fill or a change in grade. I can just tell from the aerial photographs that the landscape has changed in the rear. Stop sharing. Just show you the site photos that we took in the adjacent property. So though in this photo, you can start to get a sense of the very wet nature of the wetland and its flatness. And what we could see was the fence, but we could also see recently cut trees here, and then kind of this assortment of limbs, as well as it's kind of hard to tell in this photo. As I was saying before, kind of the remaining trees kind of all kind of lean back away from what is now a cleared area. More photos of the same, again, very wet conditions, and the cut trees and the recently cleared area. So that is why we issued the violation. We do believe that the rear yard was expanded in our order, excuse me. We note my screen again. So in the order we note approximately 1,900 square feet, and that's based on this measurement here, and that is the difference between the condition prior to the expansion. So this line is the limit of the fence in 2018. And then this line is the limit of the fence plus kayak storage in 2024. The yellow line is the approximate property line. So the order also talks about a certain square footage on the adjacent property, and it's this area that's being referenced there.
Got it.
Oops, just closed your map.
Alexis, would you like a minute to grab a glass of water?
Yes, and I see that Commissioner Bennett has a question as well.
Yeah, that was my plan.
Well, I can hold that until you get your water.
But go ahead.
Well, no, I noticed that, it's quite obvious that there was a lot of clearing of the wetlands there. an actual destruction of it, it appears to be. But with the neighbor's property at number 30, using your property line, and I think your report mentioned 700 and odd square feet on the property of number 30. Were they aware that this was happening to their property? Did they give permission or have anything to do with the clearing of the wetlands on their property on number 30?
No. And I will say that I don't think that they were even aware that that was their property. And they were extremely disappointed. I'd say that they had called us out to what they had felt like they had called out the city to assist them with the flooding around their garage, their shed. And not only did we have to tell them, no, actually, we can't help you with your shed. Your shed was constructed by the previous owners that owned 30 Devil's Garden Road and without permits. So they had actually received a wetland permit. Let me say back in 2003, if I remember correctly. And the commission at the time allowed the shed to just stay in place. So we had told them, no, we can't help you with the shed. And further, they had solutions for taking care of some of the inundation around the shed. And we informed them that no, you would need to get a permit for that. That's not something that you can just do. So that was in August 2023. In September 17th, I issued a notice of violation to both owners for number 26 and for number 30, citing the conduct of number 26 and describing it, but also sent it to number 30 as when you do that, it just kind of makes sure that they are aware and they would have to be part of the eventual solution at a minimum. If you were to uphold it and the entity that conducted the violation took the directive steps and applied for a permit, at a minimum, the property owner at number 30 would have to sign consent for number 26 to propose work on their property.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna take over for a minute. Of Alexis, you'd
Sounds
like,
good.
hang out or whatever.
Yeah.
I just wanted to check before the applicant starts speaking. We have Frank Murphy online. Mr. Murphy, are you on for this property?
Yep.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Online. I'm the attorney for Lynn Shack, the owner of 26 Devil's Garden Road. And I believe that Ms. Shack is also online, although I don't see her on my screen.
She is here. Yes.
Okay. And I'd like to give you some background information and then address some of the comments and the violation.
Well, actually, hold on a second. Mr. Murphy, I'm sorry. Can I hold on 1 second? Alexis, are you good, or you want to take a quick timeout?
Yeah, no, I'm good with going to the respondent, and then if necessary, I can. I mean, I think you've seen enough, so I can.
Okay.
If necessary, we can circle back.
Sorry, Mr. Murphy. We just wanted to accommodate for her needs. Please go ahead. Sorry for the interruption.
Okay. First, the tax records show that the house owned by my client at 26 Devil's Garden Road was built in 1940, and there was a wood deck and added in 1993 and an addition in 1994. At that time, the property was originally both 26 and 30, but subdivided in September 1978. And the house at 30 Devil's Garden Road was added later. My client purchased the property in October 2015. And in our view, the property is essentially the same now as it was when she purchased it. You will note that it's an irregularly shaped lot. You should also know that to the rear of the property is a large tract of land owned by the Norwalk Land Trust. And the Norwalk Land Trust property is in fact a protected inland wetland. And it's also a source where the city of Norwalk actively drains water. The terrain from Highland Avenue goes downhill at a steep angle from Highland Avenue along Devil's Garden Road to the approximate location of number 30. There are drainage easements across number 30 and an adjoining property where the city has 36-inch pipes that drain a high volume of water into the wetland area. So that if number 30 has more water or near their shed, it's not because of anything that has been done at 26 Garden Road, my client's property. It's undoubtedly because of the high volume of water that's pumped by the city into the Norwalk Land Trust property. Now, in terms of the comment that the rear of our property is a swamp, to the far rear of the property, which is irregularly shaped, yes, it is a wet area. But in the area that seems to be in question here within the 1,900 square foot area, that in fact was not swampland and was not wet at all in any time since my client has owned the property. Now, the aerial photographs and if you compare what was shown to you from April 2018 with the current, in April 2018, there was a large maple tree roughly in the middle of the portion in the aerial photographs. And then to the east side of that was a large willow tree. And to the west side of it was another large tree. Both the willow tree and the other large tree towards the west side remain in existence. In April 2021, the large maple tree was damaged in a storm and had to be was knocked over and had to be taken down and cut up. That's the only change in that area. It's essentially the same now as it was then. Now, I know that Ms. Cherichetti is relying very heavily on the aerial photographs, but the aerial photographs don't really tell the whole story. We did meet with her in October and furnished the number of photographs showing the rear of the property. And if she would share the photographs that we had talked about this morning, showing the rear of the property, starting with the first set of photographs that we sent to her in October.
Okay.
And these photographs are designed to show from the driveway area heading back towards the rear of the property.
Alexis, are you able to, you're muted.
I'm sorry?
So
Attorney
I'm
Murphy,
talking to Alexis saying she's
Yep.
muted. She's trying to say something.
I was trying to talk to you, but Attorney Murphy, did you want I scanned the ones when we met October 16th in person, you had brought paper copies and I scanned those. Are those the ones that you want to start with, or the ones that were
Yes.
emailed? Okay.
Yes, those ones.
Okay.
All right, so that shows the entrance from the driveway area, and it shows a narrow curving walkway going down to the flower gardens and the lawn area. There is a claim that there may have been filling to the rear of the property. And in fact, and my clients will testify under oath if you request them to do so, that there has been no filling by them between 2015 when they purchased the property to the present time. If we could then go to the next photograph, which shows a stone walkway on the lawn area. And it also shows the perimeter fence. That fence is the boundary line fence. And one thing I'd like to note is that in the earlier aerial photograph, which you were shown, the yellow lines on that were actually the tax map, which, as you know, is not a survey map. But as far as we know, there is no encroachment, regardless of what the tax map may show. There is no encroachment on 30 Devil's Garden Road, nor has the neighbor ever claimed there's an encroachment, nor are my clients aware of any. And that perimeter fence was there when my client purchased the property and remains in the same location today. There has not been an accurate, up-to-date survey, but based upon the existing survey, that's where we believe the property line is located. If we could go to the next photograph, that shows the continuation of the walkway facing towards the rear of the property, including the 1,900 square foot area, which seems to be in question. And if we could go to the next one after that, that further shows the rear area, showing where the tree was removed. Now that photograph actually goes back to 2001 when the tree actually came down. And then the photograph after that shows a portion of the, if we could scroll onto that one, that shows a portion of the tree. As you can see, it's hollowed out and dead on the interior. And that was the maple tree that came down in a storm and was removed. It's not a violation of any of your inland wetland regulations or the statute to remove a dead tree. If we could go on to the next photograph.
I think that was it for that.
Okay.
And so then I will
then
need
go
to
to
go to the emailed photographs.
If we could then go to the next set of photographs.
Hold on one second.
These are more recently taken photographs, which also show the area in question. As you can see, if you could scroll down to the next one, I believe. That further shows the rear area. And if we could scroll to the next one, that also shows the area further to the rear. Now, that area is now open since 2001 when the tree came down. It's now open to the sunlight. No work has been done in that area. Of course, they remove the leaves and that type of thing, but the lawn area has not been extended into that area. Um, The next photographs further show that rear area, and as you can see, that's essentially undisturbed. And the photographs are taken from different angles, showing facing towards their house from the end of the fence line interior. It also shows their dog, which is approximately a year old now, which in that area is where the dog is typically located. So if those photographs do not actually show any of the claimed violations. It was not a swamp area before. It's that portion is not a swamp area now, and never has been a swamp area. The area has never been filled or graded. The disturbed wetland area, which is said to be 765 square feet on 30 Devil's Garden Road. We don't believe that exists. It may hypothetically exist on the tax map, but not actually outside of the long existing perimeter fence, which existed in when my client purchased the property in 2015 and remains today. So the orders that are requested, first of all, we don't think that there's any violation of the wetlands regulations, but the orders requested are a stop work order. Well, there's no work taking place, so there's nothing to stop. There was no work taking place when the order was issued, nor is there now. Another request is to have a soil scientist delineate the wetlands. There's a request for corrective action to restore the wetlands. None of the wetlands have been disturbed in any respect. There's a request for a permit application for an action plan. Once again, we think that such orders are unreasonable. Now, what the backyard is used for is there's a vegetable garden back there. That's not a violation of any of your regulations. There's been no clearing, grubbing, grading, excavation, filling, or anything like that. There's no regulated activity and not even a technical violation. In terms of the fence, I suggest to you that a fence or a fence replacement is not a regulated activity under your definition that section 60A-2A 26 or any of its subparagraphs. I don't believe that your regulations require a permit for a fence. There's no other city ordinance or regulations that requires a permit for a post and rail fence. The statute 22A-40 permits numerous uses in a wetland, including uses which are incidental to the enjoyment and maintenance of a residential property and the maintenance of existing structures and landscaping. And that's all that's being done. So if you would like to hear from my clients, they are present and are prepared to also address these issues.
I think we'll pause right there for a minute, if you don't mind, Mr. Murphy.
All right.
Ms. Knight, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, I think you were making statements about the nature of the soil, saying it's not swampland, but I'm asking, which I think you've answered, that you actually don't have any soil scientists, or I'm not sure what that opinion or expertise is based off of your evaluation or presentation of the soil.
Well, we have not retained a soil scientist, and I wasn't.
So you haven't done it, so there isn't really technical wetland delineation that's in place or analysis of the soil. It's just an opinion about whether it's a swamp or a wetland at
Well,
this stage, right?
It's not an area where if you walked in, you'd get your feet wet.
That's not a definition of a wetland.
I know
but
that's not a definition, but it's not a swamp.
that's not the
Okay,
regulation.
We're actually just, sorry, Catherine.
Yeah,
So we're going to approach this based on the body language coming from the applicants. I don't see this moving in a positive direction without maybe taking a step back and taking a deep breath and realizing that this is not the end of the world. Nobody's calling anybody a cheat or a liar or you know, there's no judgment being passed here whatsoever. The city's not out to get anybody. We weren't out there with a drone trying to find anybody doing one tiny little thing wrong. We were called because of a potentially unrelated issue, right? And I think right now we have a lot more questions than we have answers. If you don't mind, Mr. Murphy, I appreciate you trying to give us your opinion of how you see the situation. Typically, what we do is we rely on professionals from the, you know, the land side of things to answer questions for us, because none of the commissioners here are, you know, soil scientists, none of us are surveyors, none of us are land use attorneys. Okay, so so we just try to take things as cool as we can and not get too upset because, like I said, nobody's life is at risk here. We've all got plenty of security and you know, it's just trees and dirt when it comes down to it. Although I do have to respect and acknowledge it looks like there's been a lot of hard work put into the property. Watching the timeline over the years of that fence going around looks to me like a lot of Saturdays and Sundays, digging with post hole digger and all that stuff, which I'm personally familiar with and appreciate what that takes. Also, you know, the trees do have to come down sometimes, especially when they're hollow as a pipe, you know, like that maple was back in 2001. I don't want to get tied up in arguments about what's a swamp, what's a wetland, whatever. The way this commission works is that we allow the professionals to tell us what's what. And provide professionals, I don't mean not attorneys, but I mean soil scientists. Soil scientists will tell us, okay, where is the wetland? And wetland is defined by soil type, not by present of wetness. And so that's a good first step to delineate. Okay, what are we talking about here? A soil scientist can also inform us about the function of the wetland soils if we determine that they are there. May not be. You never know. We can't make that call. None of us on this call can make that call right now. So we're just going to not argue about it. Let's see what else. The mention of fill. I believe Alexis said they were not able to confirm whether there was or not fill. So there's been no accusation of there being fill. It is just a consideration that, again, needs to be explored by a professional. The tax map versus the survey, that's a tricky one. What to say about that one? We just do the best we can with the technology that we have. So again, maybe getting a survey to confirm exactly where the property line is. That goes hand in hand with the delineation of the wetland. And again, I know none of this stuff is free. I know this isn't the kind of stuff that you do yourself on Saturdays and Sundays, and that sucks. And just like the property owners that for this property, we're also property owners. We don't want our rights infringed upon any more than anybody else does. So let's just, if you guys don't mind, keep that front of mind as we're continuing the conversation, because it's just not going to be fun and or remotely pleasant if we don't take this as smoothly and positively as we can. All right,
Well,
that's my piece.
I agree. I agree with your comments. But I'd like to.
Don't start with the but, Mr. Murphy. Try again.
Well,
And
but I'd also, I'll use and instead.
thank you.
But I think we've got a very practical problem here. I know that it's a soil type and that a soil scientist has to make the determination as to the actual wetlands. I know that we could delineate the actual boundaries with an up-to-date survey. But what we're talking about is instructing a homeowner who really hasn't done anything to spend several $1,000s for these professionals to do that work based upon an interpretation of aerial photographs without an inspection of the property. And it's not that we've denied Ms. Cherichetti an inspection of the property. We talked to her about it. We talked to her about our view of the thing in an informal meeting that she was good enough to have with us in October. So it's my clients are willing to cooperate with the commission and with her, but it really seems punitive in some respects to require a homeowner because of a neighbor's complaint about wetland problems that have, or wetness on their property that has nothing to do with us, to be now having to spend several $1,000s to respond. And that just strikes me as fundamentally unfair.
I can't disagree with that at all. You're right. It is. But just kidding. And we're gonna find a way to get to a point of resolution, hopefully as quickly and inexpensively as possible. But sorry, I did it myself. You have to recognize that this is where a lot of violations come from. Is someone seeing someone else do something to trees, land, whatever, and really the only way to settle it is to, unfortunately, engage the professionals and have them tell us what's what. It happens a lot and it stinks. So yeah, we apologize for that and promise to do everything we can to make this go as smoothly as we can.
Well, and what we're really requesting the commission to do is to rescind the enforcement order without requiring us to spend the money for soil scientists and surveyors and other technical professionals based upon what we see are facts that no one really disagrees with. And you can see from the photographs that the property is well maintained. It's not been disturbed in any way, and there's really no harm to any wetlands involved at all.
Well, that's what we're here tonight to do, and the commissioners will, after hearing everything, we'll vote on whether to uphold, amend, or reject the enforcement order. Is that right, Alexis?
Correct. Yeah, uphold,
never get the right
modify
words.
and uphold, or withdraw. Correct.
Withdraw, modify and uphold, or uphold.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
is that what you're having your hand raised for, Alexis? So
it can be. yeah, I can just leave it at that. I
Okay.
can also show the commission, if the commission has any additional concerns, I can show topographic maps that show the relative topography of the areas of standing water in relation to the elevation of this area. I can show a overlay of the 1978 survey that shows that the portion of the area, it does include 30 Devil's Garden Road. And I just want to clarify that the order does not cite as a regulated activity the erection of a fence or the removal of one dead tree. The changing the natural and indigenous character of the land from a naturally vegetated wooded swamp, which is a technical term. That doesn't mean, I know swamp has like a lot of bad names, but that is a technical type of wetland where the water is close to the surface. It's that
didn't even
change
know that.
in indigenous indigenous character of the land. So that was
Okay. So it, do any other commissioners want to chime in?
Yeah, one,
Kathy, your hand went to the keyboard. Wait, nobody, oh, Catherine raised her hand. She got you.
Okay.
Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the things is that, we've looked at it and Alexis has looked at a lot of properties, has vast experience with these types of things. And we tend to use her guidance on, what she sees or advice. And
But we don't have to, by the way.
well, we don't have to, but I think, some of it is just about trying to understand, for us to really look at it. It's helpful for us to understand where the wetland delineation is and what is in the upland review area. And we also, in terms of protecting in the best interest of the function of a wetland and watercourse, try to also protect buffer areas because they're really important for filtration. I mean, water is really an important resource for us all. And so we're trying to balance that between, yes, there's private property and there's property rights, but there's also conservation of ecological systems, which are also important to us as a whole. And so it's very difficult when you don't have an understanding of where the wetland delineation and what is in the upland review area. So that's very helpful for us.
Mr. Vinette.
okay, just two questions here. Maybe Alexis can answer them. And one, I can certainly agree with Ms. Shack's perspective on, she bought the house in 2015 and she hasn't changed anything, but did she know does anybody actually know where the wetlands start and stop down there? And the other is, could this be addressed, or could it be of some help if an on-site inspection were permitted? I know Alexis went to the property and she was asked to leave. Has there been any discussion about an on-site visit, and would that change what Alexis can only interpret through maps and photographs if she had, her and somebody go on site?
My clients would be happy to have an on-site inspection. They have no objection to that.
Alexis, how does that work with you, or could it?
Yeah, it can, certainly.
So, okay.
I don't know. Yes, I mean, typically we're on the actual property looking at the a close-up of the ground. So
Alexis, what are the rules? Do we have to act on this enforcement order tonight?
no, you can table it to your next meeting.
Mr. Murphy, or
Continue
and
it,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to not give the homeowner an opportunity to speak. You're welcome to chime in anytime. But you'd have to unmute yourself though, because yeah.
Well, let me, if I could very briefly
Okay.
add one other thing. The area we're talking about is 1,900 square feet on a property that's roughly 2/3 of an acre, 0.62 acres. To the rear of the property, where it intersects with the Norwalk Land Trust property, and to beyond that 1,900 square feet and going to the rear of the property, to the land trust property, that is a swampy area and a wet area. We're not disputing that, but that's not the area we're talking about. We're talking about the area in front that is at the end of their lawn, and I don't. I appreciate the commission's desire and your mission, which is to protect the function of wetlands, but I really don't think that the 1,900 square feet serves any real wetlands purpose at all. It's an area that is now more open to sunlight than it was before the tree came down, but it's essentially the same as it's always been. And it seems to me that we're potentially getting far afield from what we really should be protecting, which is the wetlands area, which isn't affected at all, and the homeowners' use and enjoyment of their property, and requiring the homeowner to expend a considerable sum of money that doesn't really advance anyone's interest.
Thank you for that. Ms. Shack, would you like to chime in?
I just said I bought the house in 2015. The fence was there, the posts were there. I have not done anything. The tree fell down. I don't know what I've done to, there's nothing filled. We have no machinery. We haven't brought machinery back. You can see from the stone wall, there's no way to get anything back there, nor would I have tried. The vegetation that seems to be not there, it was a big tree and it covered a lot, and whatever, there's stickly trees, there's skunk cabbage, there's things that come through there. It's not, but we just didn't feel anything. We didn't really do anything, and I'm really confused.
What also
Okay.
behind
Good.
the
And
house?
can you
there's-
just identify yourself, sir, for the
Oh,
minute?
yes, hi, Steve Russo.
Thanks.
Cool. Go for it, Steve.
Yeah. The discharge pipe from the street that's between 30 Devil's Garden, about 30, I don't know, you could throw a rock to it, maybe 35 feet behind our property. There's a 3-foot wide pipe. It's discharged. I see it come up like a geyser sometimes. It's 17,500 gallons a minute comes out of it. That's what makes whatever kind of water's back there. So the part we're talking where the tree came down, like the only access into our backyard is down that little staircase. So, I mean, it's just how it is how it is, how it's always been.
Nothing's been altered, nothing's been created, nothing's been proposed, nothing's been erected.
I mean, wetland's a loose term as far as I'm concerned. When the 4 discharge pipes back there, about 80 million gallon a day maximum.
Okay. Thanks.
So I appreciate your consideration. It's a lot of money to come out. I don't know what I have to.
Well, okay, so we'll again, like we're all here to just, smooth this out within the statutes that, apply. We'll try to make it as painless as possible. Our job tonight is to decide on whether to amend and uphold, or withdraw
Okay.
the enforcement order that is dated November 7th, 2024, for this, for 26, and by some extension, we don't know yet because there's no survey, 30 Devil's Garden Road too. So, I'm going to ask, I'm going to put the commissioners, give them the floor now and give them one more chance to ask questions or make a comment before, I ask someone to move or to make a motion. However you want to say it. Nobody. Okay. Commissioner Knight has expressed her concern for the definition and function of the wetlands. Ms. Brown, Mr. Halowinko, you've been quiet. This is not a unilateral situation. We have to act together here.
I think it's really hard for us to make a decision as to whether to change anything on the enforcement action until Alexis actually goes out there and does a site visit. And then we will have better information as to whether to hold it or
Okay.
or just forget about it.
Ms. Brown, and you don't, nobody else has to chime in if they don't want to. I think, Paul, you express interest in getting Alexis out there. I mean, so if oh, go ahead, Cheryl, sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree with Ed. I think that we need a little more information.
Okay. So how about this? Alexis, can we, and if it's amenable to the property owner and their attorney, can we table this until our next meeting? We can decide whether to, what to do with the enforcement order on December 10th, with the understanding that staff, well, let's see, if they don't have an application for this property yet, can commissioners be requested to go on site? Alexis?
Anyone's welcome to come on site.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd say that if commissioners go on the site, just, you want to go there and, not have any conversations. You're just going there to observe the property. So there's no conversation or, other than,
Interaction.
hello, hi, right. Interaction is a better word. You want to obviously let the homeowner know that you are, on the property and requesting to go to the backyard. But other than the, you're there for observational reasons only.
Okay. If the dog comes to say hi to you, though, you can pet the dog. Ms. Knight.
Yeah, I think.
Although Ed's a cat guy, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great, and that's really helpful for people and Alexis to be able to go on site. I still think we're still going to be very challenged to make determinations, as Ed pointed out, without having, unfortunately, a soil scientist really letting us know where the wetland and the upland review area sit in terms of understanding what the impact and the best course of action is for the wetlands. Here.
Thank you. Paul?
Yeah, I can appreciate Catherine's concerns with the wetlands, but if there has been no evidence of any violation, if we go there or Alexis goes there and it's like, this looks like nothing's been changed in 30 years, I don't think it would be appropriate or right that we place any burden on Ms. Shack and Mr. Russo. I think we should go and look, or Alexis can go and look and report for us. I also wouldn't want to inconvenience them if there's one specific time we could go, or a date and a time could be announced. And if we make it, we make it. If not, as long as Alexis can go and be our eyes.
Yeah, and I can take
we rely
lots
on
of
her a lot.
photographs.
Yeah. But if you can set something up and if we're available,
If you just put a date out there, I can be available.
How about Thursday afternoon, about 3 o'clock?
For Thanksgiving,
will the turkey be ready?
if you bring the meal,
I'll bring a bottle of wine. Catherine.
might need it.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a little confused because, Alexis did show us the aerial, and I understand the concerns that were raised about the aerial photographs, but when you see a fence before a tree and then after a tree over a period of time, that's activity. So, that's not going to come up on a site visit to say like, this is new, or, I can't see when something was specifically done just by looking at it.
I think the fact that there is nothing happening actively right now, there's no exposed soil on a sloped, pitch where it's eroding into the wetland, or, eroding wherever it's not supposed to go. We don't know where the wetland is. I think giving staff an opportunity and commissioners an opportunity to check out the site for themselves, just to add a little context to the aerial photographs. I don't think there's any harm in it. Personally, but I'm just one commissioner. But since there was a silence after I stopped talking, I'm going to, that's going to be my suggestion. And I don't know, do we need a motion to table this, Alexis? Or is that my prerogative as a chair?
To continue it, really.
Continue.
So you're keeping the show cause hearing open and continuing it to your next meeting on December 10th, 2024.
That's what I'd like to do. I don't care what the other commissioners say. Just kidding. But no, seriously, do we have to vote on it?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean,
So that's my motion.
you're not really making a decision. You're just announcing. You're fine. So you've announced that it remains open and that
Okay.
it will be continued to your next meeting.
Okay.
And in the interim, the purpose for continuing is that staff will go out the week of next week. We'll arrange a date with the property owner to be able to go visit the site the week of the 2nd in advance of the meeting on the 10th.
And you'll keep commissioners in the loop in case anybody would like to join you?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Mr. Murphy, is there anything else you have any questions about, or are we good for tonight?
No, I think we appreciate your having Alexis come out and walk the property with us, and I appreciate your interest and attention tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ms. Shack, is there anything else that we can?
No, that's it. Thank you very much. I guess Alexis will be in touch with me.
Yeah, I'll send you an email early next week.
Okay,
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll talk to you again soon.
thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda. Boop. That's all the exciting stuff for today. Approval of minutes. Anybody read the minutes from 2 weeks ago?
I read the minutes and I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second? All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, conservation initiatives. I don't have anything to contribute. Does anyone else? Nope. Okay. Well, we'll keep going then. Comments of staff.
So at tonight's Common Council Common Council meeting, on their agenda is the nomination of a new commission member as to fill your one remaining alternate vacancy. So later tonight, we'll know if you have an additional alternate member. His name is also first name Steve. So
Never enough
hopefully
Steves.
he is successfully appointed.
Hey, how about this, Steve, though?
And
do I have
then
to do anything about that?
I was continuing.
Okay,
And so
sorry.
then I also let the mayor's office know that you are interested in being reappointed. And presuming that is that the mayor decides to nominate you, that would also need to be approved by the council. It cannot be approved by the council until their January meeting. So you will have to miss a meeting. They cannot proactively reappoint someone, because otherwise they would do it like now, right? And reappoint
Yeah.
everyone.
I didn't get around
Um,
to lobbying those in charge.
Yeah, so that's, there are some procedural issues that do prevent them. It is a good policy, so but it's a pain in the rear as far as the overlapping of the time between reappointment and Conservation Commission meetings. Keep that in mind.
Okay. I hope my vice chair is ready for that one in January. Anything else, Alexis?
No.
Okay. Commissioners? I don't have anything to add. Thank you for, I'll move to adjourn the meeting. Thank you for everybody for coming. Do we need a second? Yeah, we need a second.
Yeah.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.